and welcome to my first house tutorial of 2024. I hope you've all been having an amazing year so far. I can't wait to show you this build. But before we get into that, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know what other tutorials you'd like to see in the comments down below. I have the area all marked out to start off, and I have a little map for you to follow, starting along the top and going down around 13, then 3, 8, 6, 8, 3, then 9, another 3, 4, 3, 2, and then 10 to meet back up into that corner. I'm going to start in the smaller little rectangle of the house that has the purple terracotta. So I'm starting by placing bricks all along that purple terracotta, going up 3, and then making a little square there, or rectangle I should say. Then I'm doing the same little rectangle on this side, then I'm filling in this edge over here, and I'm filling it all the way in, and I'm leaving a 1x3 gap because that's going to be our door. Then I'm going along the top, just one high. Then I'm going to make the gable on the short side here by building up this triangle. Then I'm going to punch out a 2x2 window and using stairs make that into a little square. Then I'm also going to place a upside down stair in that 3x1 gap so our door can connect to it. Then once I have this, I'm just using some dark oak stairs, doing like your typical roof pattern, but I'm using dark oak along all of the edges, very basic. And then once I have that, it should look like this, and I'm just filling in all of the rest with spruce. I've done that a few times in some of my tutorials where I have a dark oak edge and just the rest of it is built with spruce, so it's not super tricky. But while I'm filling in this roof, I'm going to place a 2x4 section of bricks, which is going to be used for a chimney. I'm just building it up a little bit right now so I can mark it out where it goes. We'll actually build the chimney a little bit later. Then for this little gap we left, I'm just putting some brick walls along the outside and 2 in the center, so those will all be windows. Then I'm moving on to the bigger rectangle. On these little purple terracotta blocks on the corners, I'm going to place 12 brick blocks all stacked up. And this is what it should look like once you have that. I'm also placing 2 brick blocks on those other terracotta purple blocks. Then I'm just filling in these corners here to connect the 2 sections together, which is quartz, and I'm just building it all the way up 12. I'm just going to do a layer of quartz on this light blue terracotta. Then I'm doing a line of quartz all the way up next to those bricks. Then in that very next row, I'm placing 5 high with quartz, and I'm just doing that across the entire front face of the building and connecting it to that corner there. So you should have this. Then I'm going to leave a 2x3 gap here for a window and fill in the rest. Then I'm just placing 2 quartz stairs to round out the top, and we'll leave that for now. Then I'm moving on to the entryway. I'm just placing quartz 4 blocks tall, and I'm doing that on both sides. Then on the top of that, I'm placing a brick block, and then at the top, I'm placing some upside down stairs to round that out, then placing some brick walls between those 2 brick blocks we have. Then I'm placing 2 more brick blocks on top of those stairs just to make a gable, and then I'm placing the roof. Dark oak on the outside, and then spruce on the inside just like the other roof. Then once you have that, on the cyan terracotta blocks, I'm just placing 2 quartz stairs, filling in behind those brick stairs until you have a 2x2 gap. Then I'm just adding some spruce planks because that would be the flooring. I'm placing a little like edge all the way around the entire building. And where it intersects with these roofs, I'm just adding dark oak. And that's something that will go around the entire building. So it should look like this. And I think I'm just going to finish this whole wall before I move on to the others, just to make it a little bit easier. So I'm starting by outlining the entire thing with quartz. Then once you have that, I'm leaving a gap of 2x3 right next to the wall. Then another gap of 3x3. So the whole wall, you should have 2 gaps of 2x3 and 1 gap of 3x3. Here, you'll see the center gap is actually 3x4. That's a mistake. It's supposed to be 3x3, but it's not that big of an issue because it really doesn't affect anything else. You'll just see me fix it later. Then I'm just placing 2 quartz stairs to round out the top. Okay, once you have that, I'm gonna move over to the short wall. And it's very similar to the other wall we have. I'm just outlining it all in quartz. Then I'm gonna divide the wall in half where that dark oak little trim will go. Then I'm putting a quartz block right under that and a quartz block above that. Then I'm dividing it using 2 quartz blocks all the way up down the middle. So you'll have 2 gaps of 2x3 using some stairs to round off the top. And I'm doing the same thing on the next level. Then I'm building up the gable, leaving a 3x2 so I can add a little window. So then I'm just adding the dark oak trim in the center. And then I decided while I was building, I wanted these windows here to be a little bit taller, so I just made them a little taller, but you can keep them however you want. Then we're doing the back wall, which is going to be, then we're doing the back wall, which is very, very similar to the front wall. It's literally all the exact same, just without that little entryway. So I'm outlining it all with quartz. I'm dividing it in half by where that dark oak trim is going to be. Then I'm adding the windows, which will be 2x3s with some quartz stairs on top to round it out. Then the next level is literally the exact same as the other side, so just rebuild that bit. And once you have that, I'm going to move on to the chimney so I can finish that off. I'm just building it up I'm just building it up until it goes over the gable. You don't have to worry about making this exactly the way I built it because I kind of want it to be a little bit like uneven. So I'm just building up the back here with a few more bricks and quartz blocks so that it all connects here. So once you have this, one block above that quartz, I'm adding 2 more blocks in the back and then one on that side there. So it looks like this, and filling in the middle so it looks like this. Then I'm taking some stairs and I'm placing one here on this side and 2 right there. Then I'm circling the entire backside with more stairs. Then these 2 sides, it really doesn't matter where you build them. You just I just made them a little bit shorter than the other side. I just made it a little bit uneven to kind of give it some texture. You could make it totally even if you wanted to too. Both work. Then I'm just placing some campfires so our chimney can be smoking and adding some spruce trapdoors. So on those places where the stairs come up a bit higher, I'm adding 1 trapdoor, and the spaces where the stairs are a bit lower, I'm adding 2. Then I'm just doing the roof with the exact same dark oak around the outside. And after I did that dark oak trim across the front, that's when I realized that this one window was a little bit too tall. So I just added some more quartz blocks and lowered it just a tiny bit, and it was perfectly fine. And I did the same for the other side. Then I just filled in the roof, and I always fill in the blocks underneath the stairs for the roof, just because I think it's a little bit easier when placing it, but you could just do the stairs, whatever you think's easiest. And when that's all done, you should have this. And that's like all of the base done for the entire house. Now we're gonna go through and add a few details just to spruce it up a bit. So I'm starting with some dark oak fences. I'm placing those along the outside of this brick wall, touching the roof. Then I'm placing just a couple gates. And then everywhere I didn't place a gate, I'm placing some leaves. So it looks like one of those, you know, those lattices you put against walls so like the vines grow up. That's what it's supposed to look like. Then I'm just adding another fence here for like a pipe or something. I don't know, house things. And I'm adding some flower boxes to all of the windows on the ground level and some shutters. So I'm adding the shutters to all of the windows on the lower level because all the windows on the upper level are a little bit too close together to have shutters. Along the entire trim of the house, right under the roof, I'm putting some fences and gates, just alternating. So on the long side, they just alternate every other one. I'm also doing flower boxes for the second level, but how I'm doing those is I'm putting them in the window and then putting the trapdoors in front of that. Then for this big window, I don't actually want it to be a window, I want it to be a doorway with a little balcony. So I'm using some trapdoors and slabs and then placing some fences across there. And that's how you do the front side. Then I'm doing a very similar thing for the short side. I'm adding the flower boxes on the first level and I'm adding the trim underneath the roof, but instead of doing it every other one, I'm doing a fence and then 2 gates, a fence and then 2 gates and then a fence and then 2 gates, just so it lines up better. Then after I get that done, I'm putting the same flower boxes in the upper window where I just place the dirt block actually physically in that window, then the trapdoor in front of that. Then for this other long side, I'm doing the exact same thing other than the front, so you just copy that. Super simple. Then I'm adding a garden to the front side of this brick room. I'm using a spruce stair on that corner there, and then I'm just doing every other one, slabs and trapdoors. Then I'm just filling in the windows, and for all of the brick walls, I'm using brown glass, so that'll be glass panes or glass blocks, depending on where I'm placing the window. I'm also placing in the doors, and for the brick doorway, it'll be spruce, and for the quartz doorway, it will be dark oak. And I'm also placing flowers in all of the flower boxes. For all of the boxes in the windows, I'm placing tulips, and for that little garden next to the brick room, I'm placing roses. Then I'm just using some azalea leaves all around the house to give it some life and add some bushes. Just a few more little details. Then I'm going through and I'm doing all of the glass block windows, and how I do that is I actually outline the window on the inside, and then I fill it in with glass blocks. And from the outside, it looks perfectly normal, and it's one of my favorite ways to do windows. And then once that's all done, the house is like genuinely finished. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun building this cute little, not quite cottage, but cottage inspired house. And I hope you enjoyed it too. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.